our next speaker is Mr. Mohammad Amir Rana, who's a security analyst, researcher, and writer. He's the director of the Pakistan Institute for Peace Studies, an Islamabad-based think tank that focuses on research and advocacy related to peace, security, and extremism in Pakistan and the broader South Asian region. He also writes for the Daily Dawn on topics ranging from terrorism, extremism, and human rights in Pakistan. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Amir Rana.
So thank you very much, Dr. Frasa Jabi and my good and old friend, Dr. Saleem Kessa, for inviting me here to share a few thoughts with you on the very critical topic, which is under discussion, not only in the corridors of the power in Pakistan, but as well in the several capitals across the world. And I have attended a few sessions since yesterday here, and all were very beneficial for me. And I must appreciate the diversity of the topic and the knowledge which I found here, which was enormous. My handicap here is that I'm from a media background. So I may not be as structured in my presentation or in my argument as my previous colleague, the presenters was here. So I usually adopt the way to have more interactive session, but I think there's a bit little space for interactive session. So what I'll do here to just present few arguments which may be highly opinionated, and opinionated pieces have their own research value. It can help you to segregate the facts and fiction if you have the better analytical or the critical skills. My first argument is that populist tendencies transform the concept of rights. So I presume before gave my opinion on this, that in this room, all of them are well aware about what populism is and what are the basic concepts of human rights, the convention, the treaties, specifically Pakistan has signed. So populist tendencies transform the concept of rights. And this is happening in many developing and even developed societies in the world. As the populism is not triggered by, nurtured by intelligentsia. This is not the phenomenon of the well thought process or the brainstorming of the policymakers or academia sitting on the campuses or in the offices in Islamabad or in Lahore and Karachi. Rather, this is the reflection of the people, those who think and believe that the power elites are capturing the resources and they are not capable to deliver what they desire. And this is delivery, this is maybe the key phrase here. And delivery in the sense not only in the economic term or in the governance context, but they also inspired that the state must do something which inspire them, give them the purpose in their lives. So this, when the state and power elites fail to address this need of the human being, these tendencies pop up, which usually called, and then there is an avenue for the multiple actors, and maybe most of us here, they deal with not only the mass communication, but the political economy as well. So the political economy basically generate, trigger, nurture the certain characters that capitalize and try to capture, exploit these feelings and tendencies. And in Pakistani context, we have seen that the many political leaders try to capture this domain. In religions, more specifically, there were a certain populist movement and last movement is still deconstructing the social fabric of the society and changing the mindset of a common man. And similar tendencies may exist in the peripheries from Azad Kashmir, GB to Gwadar. You may be put in the context what had happened in the Haq Do Tahreek in Gwadar, and from the Awami Action Forum from Kashmir and GB, which forced the state and state institutions to fulfill their full demands. But in this whole process, what happens that we become very selective about the rights. One of the dangerous tendency in populism is that one start believing that he is special. The group he belongs to, the group is special. The community he belongs to, this is chosen. And this is their right, either by divine or by to be a majoritarian, and they deserve all the human rights promised in Constitution in any national, local, international social contract, from UN's Human Rights Charter to the Constitution of Pakistan, or the undocumented social contracts usually the societies have with each other. And they see that they deserve all these rights, but those who are different, they don't. If I may give you an example, what happened a day before yesterday in Madian in Swat, when a tourist was lynched by a mob. What does it? It reflects. And what had happened in Sargodha a few weeks ago, or what had happened across Punjab during the Eid al-Adha holidays, the charged radical mobs entered into the houses of the Ahmadiyya communities and checked their refrigerator. And when you see that the majority is a power, so first victim is a weak. And who is a weak in this society? marginalized communities, and they vary from religious communities to the ethnic and cultural communities. Pakistan as well have another stigma, usually described as distinction, that Pakistan has all form of the abuses, the violences you can find across the world. Anybody have seen the recent Human Rights Commission of Pakistan report? The state of human rights in 2023, and Human Rights Commission of Pakistan is publishing this report since last 3-4 decades. And this report has failed even to register anything on the account of the policymakers. And what we have observed and seen that the state attitude and behavior, rather to fix and address all these rights related issues or fulfill its commitment which it had under the UN Human Rights Charter or the other convention it has signed, it has developed the parallel infrastructure to the institution which already doing their job very well. And they have established the National Commission of Human Rights. And the primary objective of this commission is to review and fulfill the requirement and to implement all the conventions Pakistan have signed internationally. And the first and foremost convention is about the freedom of religion. So it starts from here and it goes into all the discriminations the gender face here. See, and I'll offer you at least, and you can Google it now, to have a look at this report, and it may hurt our majoritarian sense of pride that we are not as good as we perceive we are good. And if you look at the cases of the child abuse in Pakistan and the domestic violences, we are not going into issues related to extremism and radicalism. It will give you the glimpse that the family system, the structure has been broken. And our society has transformed into, I may not choose the word which is coming in my mind. So this is, we cannot compare the state of the society, the social fabric which has been eroded here. I think there's only few countries we can compare. And even then, the sense of pride and majoritarianism, another obstacle and the product of the populism, is the victimhood. Despite as a majority, we behave, we act that we deserve, we have rights, but at the same time, the victimhood, we think we are the victim, we are marginalized, and who is not? Minorities, marginalized people, conspiracy theory, they are connected with this lobby and this lobby. And this is not a unique phenomenon here somehow in Pakistan. It happens in developing societies at different scales. So the victimhood, and victimhood basically connect populism to identity. You might have read the recent account by Fukuyama, Identity. It may give you the very good explanation that how the populism and its nexus and the mixture with with identity notch a dangerous level of nationalism and negative nationalist tendencies. And what it will do? It's not only to disturb the equilibrium, social equilibrium, or the right situation in the countries, but it's also impact the governance system, the political structure, even the economy. And we become very sensitive about our identities. So identity is start shaping, and this is maybe the level or the phase where the probability of emerging of one populist leader become possible. The problem is that populism, as I had mentioned in my initial remarks, that is not confined to the politics. And when the society is divided on ethnic, religious, sectarian lines, so they will find their own populist ideals. But as a human, we need something in a complete package. Not that I can buy the political populism from Imran Khan and to fulfill my ideological desire, so I can go to TLP. If I feel that I have to be pride on myself, as a Pakistani, I will look towards the military. So it's human minds doesn't act like that. They want something in package, and there is no package available in Pakistan right now. And what is happening then? Then a common is a very opinionated term. Usually I avoid. You need an individual and try to converge all these three tendencies in one. Politically, maybe they are in line with this, but religiously, they are in line with another stream. And nationally, they are with another. It may be quite dichotomous tendencies. And this dichotomous character, again, this is the cycle of the victimhood, identity, and search of the meaning in our action, in our practices. So this is like the cycle, and somehow the few recent surveys justify and explain that how an individual justify all these tendencies, that one side he is the follower of the one political party, and other side when the issue of the religions comes, then he had the multiple choices. So what is happening in all this process, the state institutions are getting weak. Institution, what is the institution? And I think you are academic, you know better. Institutions are not the bureaucratic institutions. This is not about the judiciary only. This is not about the political parties. This is about the family unit as well, as a society, as a community. So all the indicator, I'll offer you another study, not a study, basically the annual review of the Fund for Peace, the Fragile State Index, which count the 14 factor to measure the fragility of a state. If you look at the Pakistan's weakest indications are the social indicators. Economy may be in a bad shape, but it has potential. Economies all across the world, they all the time have potential to regain, recover, even during the time of decays. But what is the most challenging task is that gaining the momentum the societies have to run the system. The social transformation, this is always a very critical, and this is somehow is not happening. And populism is not going fed away in Pakistan, and neither the power elites are going to surrender, because we are right now in a state where we have developed some kind of the equilibrium between three major power sectors: religion, security establishment / civil bureaucracy, political class, the business elite in the country. And somehow they're feeling comfortable floating in the air. And nobody is realizing that maybe they are going deep down in deep. So what would be the best alternative such the solutions? Unlike the academics, as a journalist, I have privilege to propose something. And in my view, to trigger a social transformation process which can reverse all these three, or can disturb or develop another better, the balance between the power stakeholder in the country, is to sensitize the masses using all available tools about the rights. Rights can do miracle. So why we have took hundreds of years to reach on this accord on human rights charter, despite the debate on this charter in the cultural exceptionalism usually the China and Malaysia promotes. This is basically a reflection of the humankind output or the experiences which they have gone through. And if you look at, and the convention Pakistan have signed, and this may be an easy start, because another problem what happens when populism is on its peak, populist leaders, they try this simplistic solution, and they believe and they advocate, but they usually are unable to apply the simplistic solutions. But the Human Rights Charter offer easy initiative, the steps on which no stakeholder, not the power stakeholder, neither the society, will have disagreement if someone or the government or the society or an NGO or a university or a college or a madrasa or a church or a mandir in Pakistan is going to launch some initiative to sensitize about the gender biases exist in the country, issues related to child abuse, any issue related to rights. So there is enormous space is available, and this could be an easy start, and we can, one of them who can take this initiative. Thank you very much for my time.